Those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen.
Right, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean coming at you from gloomy Beaumont, Texas. I have rearranged my desk. I got my big monitor set up so I can at least see myself now and I'm not squinting and looking all crazy. It's getting darker early, fall is upon us. I wanted to crank out a video. My son is actually taking a little nap. My wife has made dinner, so it's a perfect time. Everybody's relaxing. Anyway, today's video du jour is a veritable blast from the past. 1997 Gen Con. June 9th was when the, I can't think of the word I want now. The foreword was written, was June 9th, right? June 6th, June 6th, 1997 by Bill Slavezik and Richard Baker. Yes, people. The Players Handbook limited preview edition for Gen Con for Alternity, science fiction role-playing game. Players Handbook. Little fun fact, when I was getting my prep for this video, I always get an image of the book that I'm doing, or any kind of image that'll relate to that game so that I can put it in the show notes and stuff and have a little video, you know, so you know what review I'm doing. Couldn't find a copy of this image. Nobody's got this. So this is very limited. I don't know how many they made. I don't know, but I do know that I was at Gen Con that year. I'm pretty sure for Eden Studios I was pimping All Flesh Must Be Eaten and Witchcraft and Armageddon. And that's where I first tried The Dark Eye. And it was the second edition, which had been ported over to the English version, and that's when I fell in love with it. It was one of my all-time favorite games. But neither here nor there. Back to this. I didn't actually buy this. I am not the first owner of this, but I'm the second owner. Gen Con that year had a special deal where they were opening the dealer's room to like media and industry staff people, so they could come in and get things early so that they could avoid the throng. Because what happens if you've ever worked Gen Con in a dealer's booth, and those of you that have know exactly what I'm talking about, you're busy. You don't get time, or very rarely get time, to walk around to the other booths and see what's going on, talk to other industry professionals. Yeah, sure, there's time after when the dealer's room closes and you all go to dinner or you go have drinks. That's completely different. You're not sitting there with the swag in front of you and able to get things. Usually, you know, if you've got a hot game and somebody wants a copy, they'll come over and go, hey, I'll trade you some of my stuff for XYZ, and you go, sure. And Eden Studio was super cool when I was there, and I was able to do that, and Mutants and Masterminds did that with me. It was funny. On a side note, they were like, take as much as you want, because the more you take, the less we have to pack home. That was Chris Premis and Nicole Lindros, who were super awesome to work with for Gen Con, and I think that was 98 or 2000. I don't remember. My memory is failing me. Anyway, so what happened is I was running demos for Witchcraft, and I couldn't get in there. I had a dealer's badge. I could have went, but I was already, there were people that wanted a demo, and so I ran a demo, and so I couldn't get in there. And I knew this was coming out, and I wanted it because I'm a huge sci-fi fan, and but I couldn't get in there. So I was like, man, I am not going to get one. This sucks. Well, as happenstance has it, one of the guys that worked, and I don't even know what company he worked for. I don't know. He might have been a friend of a friend kind of deal, and he got in there. But he got this for free or whatever. I think they were just giving them out as a special Gen Con preview because TSR was pimping this really hard. This is the granddaddy of the SRD as we know it today. This is what brought 3.0 into existence. Excuse me, this game right here has its roots, or it is the granddaddy. No, it's the great granddad of D20, whereas first edition D&D is the great granddaddy. So anyway, the guy that had this was doing a Sellers Bazaar, which was another thing that Gen Con used to do. I don't even know if they still do it because I haven't been to Gen Con in years. But and he had this on his table and he was setting up. Well, I was able to run back there to the dealer's room real quick where they were doing the Sellers Bazaar, and he had this on his, he was just pulling it out of his backpack. He had just walked out of the main doors for the dealer's room. So I saw him pulling this out, and I was like, hey, where'd you get that? And he was like, no. You know, we started talking real quick, and he was like, oh, I'm going to sell it. I was like, really? He said, yeah. I said, I'll give you $20 for it right now. And he's like, cash. He was like, done. And so that's how I got it. So I wish I could have got into the dealer's room and gotten a hand copy by either Bill or Mr. Baker, but that didn't happen. But I still got a copy, and it's pristine. It's in great shape. The pages are yellowing a little bit because it's been exposed to the air, but it is in great shape. One of the things that I always say about my games is consistent art. I like there to be consistent art. I'm trying to find a good, see, here's a good full page. Here's a good full page art right there. And I like consistent art throughout my books. And one thing TSR, WotC, whatever you want to call them, they've always had that consistent art in their games. And each chapter here in the book is prefaced by a full page or, a good chunk of art. I got screen glare there. I apologize. There we go. Heroes in action. And so this was Alternity. It had some different covers, obviously, for the play copy. It was 253 pages. This. I can't tell you if I own a copy of the retail copy of the Players Handbook. I know I own it in PDF, but I don't own it. I don't think I actually own a physical copy. I do own a physical copy of the Game Master's Guide, because this is back in the day where they did a player's book and a GM's book. It wasn't all in one. And there's I never got the GM screen for this. I shouldn't say never. I had it at one time. I was all hyped to run this, and then things fell through, and I never got to run it. So I've got to play it. I actually got to play it at that Gen Con. I was very excited that I was able to break out this book because they were running demos, but I've never ran this myself. And I don't know how well it'll hold up to the test of time. I have a funny feeling that it'll be okay. But this led to, of course, the D20 genre that we know and love, the 3.0 books on Spycraft, D20 Modern, D20 Horror, of course, D20 Sci-Fi. This is the progenitor. This is the big boy. This is everything you could want and more. And of course, like I said, super duper limited edition. Hard to get a hold of. It had everything you needed in here. It didn't go into too much of GMing, but what I did like that it did is it had 2 full pages of just charts, to help you with character creation and all the information that you would need to make a character. And then it had a very comprehensive index. And then the character sheet, the Alternity Game Supplemental Hero Sheet. This was to help you make your character. So if you were psionics or mutations, if you had either one of those, which if you were an alien, there was a good chance you could have mutations and or psionics, depending on the species you played. But even as a human, you could have mutations and stuff, or psionics. And it was a skill system, and it had 3. Each skill had like a minimum, a medium, and a maximum. And depending on how you rolled, that's what you got. And it was pretty weird. It was a very neat mechanic. It was a little kind of went the way of Tor. This is the character sheet, and you can see down there there's a little chart down there with your bonus die and everything. And you would roll and you would look at that, and there was a situation die steps. So if the thing that you were trying to do was really difficult, the DM might give you a minus D8. So you would have to roll a D8 with your dice, and you would subtract that from your D20. You still rolled a D20, but then you would also roll a D8 and subtract the D8 from the D20 plus or minus any modifiers that you got. And, based on your skill or whatever. And you would add your skill in and so on and so forth. Very comprehensive skill. You see, that whole page is nothing but skills. So it had tons of skills. And it was, like I said, it was a well done game. It was very thought out. They went with this kind of darkish, well, kind of brightish hue green for the character sheet. I don't know if the regular Alternity book featured that or not, because like I said, I don't know if I have it. I know I have it as a PDF. I could go back and check the PDF. But there was also a list of tables in the book, which was nice. So if you needed to go, if you needed to know computer equipment and programs, power level 6, it was page 161. Now you know, and you could go there. So really well done. And of course, it was, it says TSR Inc. Incorporated, or TSR Inc., meaning, and visit our website at www.trsinc.com. And they had a European headquarters. This is back in the heyday when they had the Dungeons and Dragons stores before they went out of business. And then for the U.S., they were based out of Renton, Washington. And it even says 1997 Gen Con Game Fair Limited Preview Edition. So, like I said, it's pretty hard to get a hold of, and like I said, what I've been doing lately for my reviews is just opening up a box and grabbing the first thing that grabs me, and this is the first thing that grabbed me. So I'm pretty excited to see that. I mean, that is literally a blast from the past. Are you guys still playing it? Does anybody still play it? I did find a forum or something when I was doing my review, my lookup notes and stuff for this. There's an active forum out there, and I'll put a link into it in the show notes here when I upload this. This is going to be a rather short video. We're already at about 11 and a half minutes, and I don't have really much more to ramble on about it. It was does anybody remember it? Does anybody have it? Does anybody have that copy or that version of the game? Because I'd be interested to see if I'm the only person that was lucky enough to get one, because I'm sure they had others out there. I haven't seen any in the wild. So anyway, that's about all I got for tonight's video. I just wanted to whip out a quick one since I had time. And I will be on Saturday. I'll be at Etten Games in Humble, Texas, running Witchcraft for Halloween. So if you're in the area, pop on in and say hi, and shake my hand, and maybe sit down and play a game. As always, peace and hair grease, and I cannot stress this enough with all the craziness going on in this world. Be nice. It takes just a second to be nice. That's all you got to do, is just be nice. Let's leave the world a better place than when we came into it. So, as always, Mr. Mean signing off. Peace, love, and hair grease. And again, I say, be nice.